Hey, what's up, everybody? This is ePhoenixN, and if you can't tell, this is Mass Effect, the original Mass Effect. I figured I'd do another one of my series, reacquainting with old friends. Basically, if you haven't seen any of these before, it's pretty much I play some of the old, very popular, very good games of the beginning of well beginning of this generation, this console generation. So that's what I'm doing with Mass Effect. I think this is, I like Mass Effect 2 probably a little better, but I really like this as well. So, yeah. I am, figure I'd take you on, guys, a little journey. I'm not sure if this might turn into a Let's Play, depending on how I like it and how I like doing it. I've already beaten this game literally, I think, like 4 times. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna do it one more time, and we'll see. Again, as much as I really like this game, I'm probably more of a fan of Mass Effect 2. But this is what started off, and this is the one that first captured my imagination, so to speak. So what do you want to be? Earthborn, basically you're poor, you were gangs, and you decided to join the military. Spacer was basically your parents were an alliance. Alliance is basically the the Earth military. Um, let's see, I think I am going to be a spacer. These are actually interesting and kind of important. Not hugely important, but fairly much so. Ruthless is obviously you're just a ruthless military person, and you'll do whatever it takes to get the job done. War hero, obviously we're a hero in a war, and soul survivor means you survived a terrible, horrible, traumatic experience by yourself, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a soul survivor. Uh, I would say soldier's the easiest to do. It just is, but let's see. I'm not sure. Let's see. I think I'm going to do infiltrator. Maybe. Yeah, I'm going to do infiltrator. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to do assault rifles because I don't find shotguns can be very useful in this game. They can be very not useful as well. You know what? I just don't really care. So we're going to confirm appearance. I'm just not really. I don't care. All right, let's do it. Okay. We're just going to do normal. Let's see. Autosave. Yes. No, I don't want to do autosave. Yes, I do. I want to do autosave. Okay, that's it. Let's go. Let's get this thing done. If you haven't played this game, it came out in I think 2007, maybe 2000. I think 2007 it was. It's a few years old now. Well, you can see it. I was going to tell you the story of it being kind of get it from this. One of the reasons I leave the subtitles are so you can read them. I'm not going to probably turn the volume up unless it's particularly important, just because it's kind of ridiculous to continuously up and down the volume of what you're listening to, because if I up the volume continuously, you're going to have a hard time hearing what I'm saying. You'll be able to hear what they're saying well, so. This was the first game, if you don't know, where like one game transitioned really well into another. Where, well, basically that your decisions in one game, and basically it's the type of thing where if you played Fallout, you make all these decisions, well, they would convert into a second game, and like those decisions carried on the second game and how the second game played out, which is basically what Mass Effect does, and that's what makes it really cool. And I'm actually going to do some of the things that I think is going to help me in the third game. This is going to be kind of a playthrough where I make certain decisions that I think will be the most useful in the third game, what's coming up, based on what I already know. So, yeah, that's that. So, Yeah, and I'm kind of feeling this as a playthrough, but like a let's play. I know I'm still doing the Fallout New Vegas, but I'll probably like switch back and forth between these two, just because. Well, just because. uh, all right. I don't know why, but for some reason this game really captured my interest. I love RPGs. As much as I like kind of like sword based and you know Dragon Age type RPGs, they just don't work as well as shooters. Shooters work so much better when it comes down to they're much more natural and more easy to use when it comes down to basically gameplay than swords and shields and spears and things are. So I just think it works so much better, and the story was so good in this game. There's so many consequences that are of galactic effect. Whether it's diplomacy with other species and other cultures, or whether it's within humanity and whatnot. So yeah, so that's that. It's one of those games where your decisions seem in a lot of ways to I don't know, to matter in a certain sense. It's one of those games that you really start thinking about how you're going to answer a question, because it makes a difference in how your relationship with other characters within a game. Um, so it's pretty cool if a game can make you stop and think, well, how do I want to answer this? What do I want to do about this? And this is one of those games. I know this is a slow start. This is actually a very slow start for a game. Um, Now, probably right before I start leading off. And these are pretty much three general, like, there's Cut the Chatter, which is basically, the more hardcore, renegade style, and there's I Agree, which is Paragon, and there's the middle ground. But anyway, like I was saying, it's one of those games where you kind of like, you stop and you have to think, well, how do I react to this? What do I want to do about this? What decisions do I want to make? How will that affect the future of the game and the future of the galaxy type of thing? And how will it affect the next game? Especially on the playthroughs, you kind of understand like more what's going to affect the next game in different ways. If you can't tell, this is Seth Green, Joker, the guy on screen now with the beard. All right. Now this game, I mean, obviously, like every game, it has a few flaws. And I'd say the only real flaw I could think of is basically, I mean, not the only thing I can think of, but one of the flaws of the game is definitely the combat system. How they do the, like you don't have ammo so much, but you have like you have unlimited ammo, but you can overheat your gun and things like that. But it's okay. Playing the second one, it's almost hard to play this one because the second one's combat system is so much better. Um, but anyway, I figured playing the second one kind of made me notice the decisions I made in the first one that were good and bad decisions that were important, and that I think I kind of want to redo. I wouldn't know. So just so you know, the Spectres, this is kind of a for your information type of thing. The Spectres are basically I don't know. There's not a good way to say it. Basically, they're given a lot of money and they're saying, "Here's a mission, make it happen." And not a lot of questions are asked. If they kill some people they probably shouldn't have, if they do some things they probably shouldn't have. You know what I mean? It's kind of they're given a mission. It's like do however you want. So that's kind of cool. This video is running a little long. I'll try to cut it as soon as I can. Yes, come on, let's go. 200 years. Alright, so a lot of this is kind of important. The reason why I'm actually making you go through this. It's basically because this is the backstory. I'm hoping you guys read the subtitles, so you've read the subtitles, because it'll kind of give you, give you the lowdown of what the story is, and so you can kind of follow it a little easier. Again, that's obviously, like I said, why I left the subtitles in. I leave subtitles in anyway, just in case. A lot of times I'll watch movies when I play video games, or I'm listening to my like Pandora on my iPhone. Anyway, and so I don't listen to the audio a lot. So, what's the next step? All right. This is obviously pretty game. It is a fairly good looking game, and here's where the main story kind of starts. Another good thing about Mass Effect series altogether is that it's not necessarily a good and evil. It's not that simplistic. You kind of have a good, but you don't have an evil. It's called Paragon and Renegade for a reason. Renegade's more of a individualistic, self-service. You do it yourself. You're worried about your own objectives and your own mission, and screw everyone else. Who cares about them? That's kind of the idea behind. Well, behind the good and evil, with quotation marks around it. Stat basically of what you are, and it's also pretty cool because not as well. It opens up certain dialogue abilities. If you're more Renegade, then it can open up certain dialogue. If you're more Paragon, it can open up certain dialogue. I also like it that Renegade and Paragon aren't exactly the same thing. Aren't like you can either, if you go up in Renegade, you go down in Paragon, and the other way around. No, it's like you can raise both of them, so you can be both like a good person, but you make very individualistic, kind of very tough, hardcore. Like you shot somebody in the head instead of dealing with them diplomatically. So I really like that in this game, which is again one of the reasons that this is probably one of the best, most fun games out there. So, and again, sorry for the long video. I just want to do one quick setup. Well, not quick, one setup video, and then we can start getting kind of into the action. So yeah, that is that. Come on, let's go. Alright. Nope. Well, a couple more words. This is a very talk-heavy game, which I don't mind at all, but just because I'm a big story guy. Story is probably the key to me. Other things are other things type of thing. Gameplay is not quite as important to me as just playing simple story, so. Alright, let's do it. Alright guys, I will be putting the next one up soon. See ya. Thank you for watching. Peace out.